Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Chip Hayner with me, and yes, it's true. Smoking Jim was not in the hospital, not at Sweetie's house. His radiator had a hole in it, which is a mystery because it was under warranty. And he's back here for another nice show. Thanks for watching our show, family, friends, and
How come you didn't take
new
some of that
people.
bubble gum you chew and plug it real quick?
He didn't think about it. It was too hot. But no, thanks for watching our show. We got some sports. You know, we'll try to entertain you a little bit. We're happy to have baseball and NHL, and we'll see what happens. We'll discuss some of that. We'll hear about Smoking Jim and the essential sport that's going to happen without a bubble. So we'll talk about some of that because we appreciate his wisdom and his honesty. And I have a few promos to bring up right now. First up, we'll see what they do. Anthony's in the control room. He's doing his internship, and he's one of the best that we've ever had. I got to give compliments to Anthony. Olive Oil's Pizzeria. Because Smoking Jim just come in 3 minutes before we started. How can I have an XL pizza outside at 6:20? What am I supposed to do when people come in at different times? We're missing a cameraman because they're on Smoking Jim time. But Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors us, 412-831-1900. Check them out at Hillcrest. They're open for service. Just call and say Al Levine sent you there. Hopefully, when some of this corona settles down or we could actually eat in the studio, we'll start getting some more sponsorship pizza and a hoagie, but stay tuned for that. Next up, Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. Can't miss it with the red trolley right out front. They've been there at the schoolhouse since 1905. It was installed. They've remodeled it, have businesses there, run events there. Matter of fact, our Bethel Park Community Foundation had a meeting there 2 weeks ago. So check it out. And they have Reginald's Coffee there, which has great coffee, freshly roasted. And they have my special loose leaf green tea, different varieties of that there. So check them out. Bring a lawn chair and you can sit out in the big front grass yard there and drink your coffee and tea in peace. And I think you can even get Wi-Fi. So check that out. Next up, we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Poor Joey Fabus died when he was 9 years old to the dreaded brain cancer, DIPG. You can go to his Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation. Donate as little as $1. They're a nonprofit. They've raised over $100,000 in the last 6 years and donated it to doctors to try to find a cure. So they're hopeful they can find that cure for him, and check it out. Next up, the Bethel Park Community Foundation has money for you. Not Smoking Jim because he's not doing anything but talking sports and going to the Burger King and getting his Wi-Fi. So, or no, he could be at Kentucky Fried Chicken getting a bucket. I forgot about the bucket. Sorry.
You don't like Chick-fil-A?
He doesn't even know about Chick-fil-A.
Lines are too long.
Well, you got to go early. Matter of fact, thanks to Chick-fil-A, my son took me to breakfast yesterday, had the nice chicken, egg, and cheese bagel.
Could you go in?
They're doing everything takeout. One of my friends who likes the show, shout out to Tony, he lives in Carrick. He says, that Smoking Jim is one of a kind. When does he bring the race card out? I go, as soon as he talks. He goes, you're right. And how's he get all those sweeties? So I said he does. But I asked him, we were there one day and he was outside, and I said, Tony, when do you open the dining rooms? He goes, we're not. We're making more money with takeout than ever before. I go, you guys did a great business before. He goes, it's better. So they're going to keep doing it. So, and everywhere I go, they're double parked and triple parked around the turn.
Around the block.
And, you know,
Yeah.
and the food isn't that good.
No,
You know what I mean?
It's
It's
a
fast
chicken
food.
cheese bagel, so it's
It's fast food.
Yeah.
But the employees are friendly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm still not waiting in line to get a chicken sandwich. I'm telling
Guess
you
how
right
long
now.
I waited in line?
Straight up.
It took me 3 minutes to get my
3
bagel.
minutes longer than I'm gonna
I
wait.
Yeah.
should be a celebrity.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Community Foundation, check it out. I'm a trustee on the board. They have money for you from $100 to $5,000. They can give you a grant. They've given out $975,000. I told you we're going to hit the $1 million mark with a donation of $25,000 during the Bethel Park Bounty. So stay tuned for more features that they're doing. And Dave Cable likes to have some fun at my expense. Put my face on Uncle Sam. Tell them Uncle Al, the talking machine, wants you for BPTV. You could be here like Anthony. He's running the cameras. He's running the audio. He's in the control room. He has one door open for the intern or volunteer to come in. We're waiting. They're definitely on Smoking Jim's time. That's what I sense. But you can call 412-831-3304. And next up, I was putting this flyer up about gumbo for August 22nd. Smoking Jim, just sit there, behave yourself. It got canceled.
Oh,
We may do a show sometime at the end of, end of September, possibly middle of October. That's the time range. Towards the end of
I
September.
gotta get some gumbo. I got a taste for gumbo.
But delicious.
You have to wait. You got to wait as these two discuss it. So this is off the table for now. Look for further updates come end of September or even October. But hey, that's what's going on with the corona. I'm not trying to be political, but if you're denying things, I understand it. I'm just trying to stay alive. It's almost 11 months from my kidney transplant. I'm doing great. And I'm just trying to stay alive. That's why we're practicing social distancing. Even while we're in a closed environment with the air just being recirculated, we want to stay healthy. So that's my story. Next up, we got a sponsor for What's on Your Mind, Skeet Service Station, 6103 Route 88, red, white, and blue station, no gas pumps. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas. And they do a great job there, 724-348-4715. Tell them Al Levine, the talking machine, sent you. And we'll start out with, welcome back, Smoking Jim. What's on your mind?
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
The fastball.
you got to see Levine.
Look, it was low and inside on the
It
righty.
looked like AB on that one.
Yeah.
Just to give you an update, I still don't know anybody that got corona, and nobody that I know knows anybody that has corona.
Disclaimer. You're not an honest man. Don Patterson, may rest in peace, died of corona. You know who he is. You told me about
I
him.
do know him.
So somehow you know him, and he can't help it with what brainwashing he may suffer. But that's just how he is. He's as good as the last person he talked to.
But I thought I was sitting next to her brother. Chip
Where?
got some Timberlands on, man. Them is nice, brother.
No, they are.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, you got the swag.
No.
You got the
Hey,
pirate.
wait a minute. These are not
You got the
Timberlands.
pirate mask that don't fit over your whole face.
Wait, my nose ain't popping out.
Even the pirate mask come out short. Hey, I love the Pirates. I love me some Pirates. And I
Another
don't-
lie from Smoking
Hey,
Jim.
I don't care what the record is. By the way, what is the record?
You don't care.
Yeah, that's true. I still love them. Do you know what the record is?
You don't care.
What is it?
2 and 9.
2-9. Okay, so I guess the 3-17 wasn't a fluke in preseason. But hey, I love it. If I was the Pirates, I probably would have seen how my AAA team could do
They're not
against
playing.
major leaguers.
They're not playing.
Yeah, we'll bring them up.
There is no AAA team this year.
Well, you can do.
It shows how you're not following baseball.
You can stretch it a little bit. But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine. Hey,
What? Because this first part, I don't even hear you.
my car. I tell you what, I had trouble with it. I got this fly-by-night warranty company.
Okay.
It's State Farm, but they spell farm with a PH instead of an F. Man, I had the hardest time. Numbers change. Well, they're only a car warranty company on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Okay.
On Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, they're a Jamaican restaurant.
Oh.
So it was hard.
How's the food?
Speaking of food, El
Yeah.
Levine, the talking machine, I tell you what, brother, I went to a place called Dick's Diner.
I've heard
In
of
Murray.
it.
Been there
Never
many
been.
times.
I've never been there before, but everybody told me how great their liver and onions were.
Were
So I
they?
go in there. Of course, I'm the only black,
Okay.
and they give me a big table by myself, right in the middle of the room where they keep an eye on me. Well, I had some paperwork to do. They sent me this liver and onion chip. It must have had 50 sauteed onions on there. The liver looked good. They give me 2 sides, so I got 2 orders of French fries. I cut that bad boy up. I put that liver in my mouth, and I realized I don't like liver.
Neither does anybody else I know.
No, I like liver. I like liver.
It looked pretty. I ate the whole thing. So at the end, I'm getting ready to. They asked, did I want some dessert? I said, no, just give me the check. They said, there's a couple that paid for my meal and left a tip. So I knew when they said they paid for my meal and left a tip, I knew it was a white couple.
Yeah.
So that was very nice. So thank you. I guess Black Lives Matter. And they took care of me. But hey, I can't mention, I got some inside information for you guys.
Okay.
A great fight coming up, Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr.
We heard about it.
I talked to Roy Jones Jr.'s trainer yesterday. He said not to mention his name, Tommy Yankello. And I got the inside information about the fight. Number one, no headgear. And they're fighting with 12-ounce gloves.
Good.
And the inside information is that, they're trying to keep everything hush-hush, trying to keep it in-house. Pay-per-view and everything is going to go through the roof.
Yeah.
And like I said, I can't mention
You already did.
the trainer that gave me the inside information,
You
Tommy
didn't.
Yankello. But
Okay.
they're expecting a fight. They're calling it an exhibition. Roy Jones
Well,
Jr.
what else can you call
Well,
it?
Roy Jones Jr. wanted 16-ounce gloves and a headgear. That's an exhibition. No headgear and 12-ounce gloves and crazy Mike Tyson is going to be a fight. Roy Jones Jr. and Mike Tyson never liked each other.
Okay.
2 people Mike Tyson never liked. Floyd Mayweather and Roy Jones Jr.
Okay.
It's 8 rounds. Roy Jones only wanted a 4-round exhibition. Both guys are in pretty good shape. Mike Tyson wanted the 8 round. They're expecting a fight.
Yeah.
They're supposed to come out and bang, but Mike Tyson only knows one speed.
Right.
Roy Jones been wanting to fight Mike Tyson ever since he won the heavyweight championship of the world. So that's the inside information. I can't say who gave me some inside information.
You did tell us.
Tommy Yankello.
You did, Tom.
But but this guy will be in Mike Tyson's corner. Roy Jones's corner. He's a trainer, so it's going to be a
Did you
long
get a
fight.
free pass to go?
No, but I will be watching it on pay-per-view.
I won't be sitting with you. The last time you did that, you snookered me in with,
Yeah, the Dukes, that's right.
like we didn't have to pay.
Matter of fact, I'm going to Dukes on Thursday at 1 o'clock lunchtime.
Who you
meeting?
meeting?
Jody.
I knew that was happening.
Yeah.
Tell Reddy I said hi.
I sure will.
You didn't
Wait a
remember his
minute,
name.
Wait a minute. And guess who will not be picking up the lunch tab?
But I tell you what, I'm going to go back to Dick's Diner. I looked online. They
Yeah.
got a pork chop dinner.
Yeah.
Get 2 pork chops. I'm going to try that out. I didn't realize till I bit in there I don't like liver.
Wow.
That's
Smoking
what's
Jim.
on my
I'm so glad you shared that, and I'm honored that you ate eggplant parmesan even though you never heard of it, and you ate ziti, and you liked them both.
mind. I did. That was good
But guess
stuff.
what? I do like liver. I've been eating it for years. I even cooked
What do
it
you
at
like
home.
about it?
I like the flavor. I like the onions, and
Well, the 2 brothers here, me and Chip.
Okay.
Timberland Chip, we don't like liver.
I ate it for years. I even cooked it.
You like gizzards? I like gizzards.
I'm not a big fan of it. I've eaten them. I like greens.
I
though.
like gizzards about as much as I like lizards.
I like some collards and
Like,
greens.
not at all.
If you could bring some greens in, I'd appreciate it.
Lord have mercy.
Thank you, Smoking Jim. Let's go to Chip Painter. What's on your mind?
What's on my mind this evening? Oh, no, I have always been a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to some things about what's going on in the NFL right now.
Okay.
And it got me thinking. Now, this has to do with the cheetah. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you know who I'm talking about, Jim?
No.
You don't know who the cheetah is?
No.
Do you know who the cheetah
I
is?
heard it. I forget who it is.
Okay, well, if a season is played this year,
Yeah.
the cheetah is masterminding his team into being eligible for the first pick in the draft so that he can get Trevor Lawrence. Now, the cheetah I'm talking about is up
understand.
in New England,
Okay.
Bill Belichick.
Wow.
He's got lots of his players who are opting out of this season,
Yes.
and they're not going to play. And he hitched his wagon to Cam Newton. The quitter, Newton, because everybody remembers in the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl,
I
Cam quit.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm not going to try. With the game on the line, he threw in the towel on his teammates. He's going to do it to this team too. And Bill Belichick's going to end up with Trevor Lawrence, the number one pick in the draft this year. It just has conspiracy all over it. How can so many players from one team opt out for the season, and then they all come back next year, and we've got a Super Bowl contender, and he's got his next quarterback for the next 12 years?
Well, I can believe it, but when Tom Brady left, they knew something was up, so they followed right in line.
Well, you know what?
That's what happened. They lined right up.
I trust him about as far as I can throw one of these desks.
Whoa.
And
They're heavy.
and I, and it's too painfully obvious. Now that goes under the premise that the football season's going to be played this year.
Ooh.
Okay?
We'll talk about that later. Yes,
That remains to be seen.
because it's essential.
That's what's on my mind.
Thank you, Chip. I appreciate it. What's on my mind is I've missed Pittsburgh sports so much. Baseball, not so much, but I enjoy watching the game, and I've watched what their record is. Like we said, they're rebuilding. Steelers never mentioned that they ever rebuilt after Troy left and other players, but somehow they did when they were not trying to be great. And what were they?
8-8.
Thank you. And they were just that last year, so I don't know what that meant about the year, but we didn't have a star quarterback that's your hero. So we'll see what happens. So no more about Pirates. We'll talk about that with Chip a little later on. I'm optimistic, but when you have a team rebuilding, you're going to see many of their flaws and lack of certain talent in positions, and you're going to see other players that'll surprise you. Like they were saying, Cole Tucker couldn't hit. Last night on a first pitch, home run to center field.
Wow.
So he did hit. But he's another guy that would be better in the minors, learning to play, like Chip and I were saying, center field. But, Smoking Jim, there's no minor league baseball this year. It's been canceled. All right, just so you know, since you're a baseball
I
fan
love Aaron
that
Judge.
doesn't watch it.
I love Aaron Judge.
He's done well himself this year, definitely. And then you forgot about Colin Moran. I'll talk about him. He set a record, 5 homers in 9 games. The only
He
2.
actually had 5 home runs
8.
in the first 8 games.
Yeah.
And the only other Pirate that did that?
Who?
Willie Stargell in 1972.
This guy
'Cause,
plays for the Pirates.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
And I was going to say that with the 9 games they put up, it was Dale Long and Willie Stargell.
No,
So-
but it's to start the season, first 8 games.
Yeah,
of the
but I
season.
didn't see that. I missed that. I only caught today's little blurb. And the Pirate fan page is sometimes a day to a week late with posting things. For some unknown reason, you believe in conspiracies, so do I, because they're not posting any of the losses that they have up there. So it's just something to
All
look
you got
at.
to do is read the Post-Gazette, Alan.
Well, I don't read that
What's the
anymore.
name of this home run hitter? I can get behind him. You know, Frazier's my favorite.
Colin Moran.
Let me explain. They call him Redbeard.
And he hit how many home runs?
5 so
5 in
far.
the first
And
8
the
games.
Pirates are 2-9.
Yeah. He'll be like Ralph Kiner. We'll give you the history, Smoking Jim. We've been there before because we followed baseball our whole life. We're unusual. We could tell you guys we played with. Like, shout out to Butch Tavaletti for saving one of my no-hitters in 1968. He saved one of my no-hitters by a fly in short right field.
Wait. Hey, Smoking Jim, you know the last time the Pirates started 2-9? Do you know what year it was?
No, sir. No,
1974. You know what the Pirates did that year?
no, sir.
They won the Eastern Division.
You want to put a bet that they don't do it this
I
year?
don't bet. I don't bet.
Let's bet them Tims. Let's bet them Timberlands.
You know what?
Hey, a little off subject, but we're freewheeling it right now.
I don't
Smoking Jim, we have a couple friends at the Meadows, Heather Wilder and her
awesome.
husband Mike Wilder, right?
Awesome, yeah.
And Mike would win 2 or 3 races, 4 races when we did our
Yeah,
shows.
Yeah.
He won the biggest race the Meadows puts on Saturday.
The
Adios. Mike Wilder
Wow.
took a lead from the quarter with Catch a Fire or something like that and won the race on the front end. A horse came up on the outside at 50-1 and lost by a head.
No.
It was flying 8 wide, and he beat that horse and the others. He won it, and it was a 50-1 shot, so it made the exactas pay money. The trifectas and everything paid some big money. He was the favorite. So he was a 9-5 favorite.
Mike was favorite.
And he won the race. He's won, and I know you didn't know this,
No.
but he's won over 8,300 races. He's not a fly-by-night insurance agent like your State Farm.
Well, he won with me too.
Yeah, that didn't count in his record.
But
No, he was driving me.
was he? No,
You
I
had
thought he was
Tony
driving-
Hall.
You sure?
You had Tony Hall.
No, I think I had Mike.
You couldn't breathe. I had the GoPro like this. You weren't breathing.
Well, wait a minute. If you would have had your eyes open, you
Yeah,
would have seen it.
That was the other problem.
Hey, Jim. But when he went up like 400,000.
It was a race for $375,000. To tell you what they make, drivers and trainers make 10%. Owners make 50%.
I didn't know that.
If you get in second place, you get 25%. How about that?
Wow.
And then it goes to
So you
12% for third,
For owners.
8% for fourth, 5% for fifth.
Did he
Those
own
are
the horse?
owners.
Did he own the horse?
No.
Wow. That's something. Why weren't we there? We usually there for that.
You didn't call me up.
I didn't know what was going on until afterwards.
You were missing in action. I just told you today.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great race. I watched it. I turned in, and I happened to catch it right when it was going off. So it was very exciting. That Jeff Zidek, who you met out there, who interviewed you on the track. He was the shorter guy that
Jeff. Yeah.
he took over for Roger Houston, who retired this year.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I'm just trying to fill in the blanks for you. Because they all like you. They just know you as who you are. They don't realize you gamble all the time and say outrageous things. Like you went to a baseball game and saw Roberto Clemente get his 3,000th hit.
I was there.
Tell me one person with you.
I don't know if I went with my dad or my baseball team.
Well, tell
I
me
can't
one
remember.
person. I rest my case, folks. That is it for What's on My Mind. We'll be back with some fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked up. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline.
Earlier in that same week, I had a friend who was who had received some anti-Semitic remarks, and in doing that, I had an opportunity to say something to the person that made those remarks, and I didn't do it. I can think back to that morning, and I was getting ready, and I was thinking, am I going to say anything? What should I say? What's the right message to say? And I didn't. And then this happens 2 days later. And I wasn't consciously thinking about that situation whenever I was making the symbol, but I can't help but think that it had some sort of, background
That you
information.
wanted to be proactive.
Background in the back of my head. It was swirling around there. So I think understanding and being able to recognize hate and then doing something about it. I used to think that it was just enough to, not be racist, not be sexist. Well, I'm not racist, so that doesn't apply to me. Well, you have to stop it. The only way we're going to combat hate is with love. So we need to make sure that our messages, as we interact with people throughout the South Hills and throughout our community and throughout our world.
Steelers show blitz. He throws the pass up. It's going to be picked off. James Harrison has it. He's running up the sideline.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. Thanks, Chip Hayner, my main man. I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine,
Yeah.
and Chip, that on Saturday, I just got the call. On Saturday at 5 o'clock, I'm going to be on KDKA radio.
With
I don't
who?
know, with Chris Morris. I don't know what we'll be talking about.
NFL.
Well, I'm not sure because I'm not the only guest. So, yeah. But, everybody knows my fiction and facts from Smoking Jim's Almanacs is all true. But may he rest,
Disclaimer.
may he rest in peace. I tell you what, I'm probably the only one that's ever seen Carlton, the late great Carlton Hasselrig, play in high school. My cousin Elizabeth, and I tell you what, I want to apologize to all my relatives for her mother and her father giving Elizabeth a white name. So I nicknamed her Bertha because I.
What's her last name?
Big Butts running my family. Big Butts running your family, Chip.
Have you seen behind that?
Well, I call her Shanae, but because we was a little embarrassed with the.
Remember something, I
Elizabeth.
have 3 sisters, so you never admit to that.
Okay.
I have 3 sisters.
Big Butt's a good thing. Good thing in the black community. But anyhow,
Tony, there he goes. He put it out there. It took a while. I distracted him.
You like a big one every now and then, you Chip. But hey, but I tell you what, she
What?
used to date the starting tailback, which was Carlton Hasselrig's best friend
Yeah.
in high school. And Carlton Hasselrig.
What was his name?
I can't remember his
I
name
knew that.
right now. But
You
they
remind me
dated,
of my dad.
But he ended up going to Lock Haven.
Okay.
And Carlton Hasselrig initially was going to go to Lock Haven with him because they had a good wrestling team. Hasselrig wrestled his
Yeah, he
senior
was a
year
champion wrestler.
as an independent because Johnstown didn't have wrestling.
Wow.
But Carlton Hasselrig fell in love with a girl from Johnstown. Something in the water out there.
Really?
So at the last minute, he decided to go to Pitt Johnstown. Ended up being a 6-time NCAA champion, 3 Division II, 3 Division I, which they outlawed that. And then Chuck Noll, who one of the greatest coaches of all time, drafted him to play nose guard. He was unbelievable as a nose guard, but Chuck Noll said, wait a minute, with your balance and everything, we're going to make you an offensive guard. End up being a Pro Bowler. He came to God's country, Monroeville, married a girl from Gateway. I think she's still in witness protection to get away from Hasselrig. but he wasn't physically abusive, but he was knocking doors, putting holes in walls, driving his truck anywhere, including.
He had some
steps of the-
issues.
He had his demons.
Well, the thing is, all Hasselrigs, anybody named Hasselrig in their DNA, they can't drink. And Carlton's problem was he had to double because his mom was a drug addict.
Yeah.
And his dad was alcoholic.
Wow.
And any of the Hasselrigs, when they drink, they're just crazy. And that's what happened to Hasselrig.
Thanks for your scouting report on the drinking.
Nicest guy in the world. Ended up remarrying another girl in Johnstown. They had 5 kids.
Wow.
The lady's really smart. She opened up a Taco Bell in Johnstown. So Carlton Hasselrig was coaching, trying to get his life together. He was coaching wrestling because they got wrestling now at Johnstown High School. And he was an assistant football coach in football. Did great things, professional wrestling, MMA. Would have went to the Olympics. Was a great, great guy. Carlton Hasselrig, I tell you what, a living legend. And
Yeah, you
That's
know,
what's on my
when he
mind.
was wrestling in college, what they did is if you won the Division II title, if you won the Division II title, then you were invited into the Division I's
Oh,
tournament.
really? Okay.
Even though you didn't wrestle for a school that was in Division I.
Really? I
And
didn't
he
know that.
won. That's how he won 6 NCAA championships.
Wow.
Which was it
That's
never,
unheard of.
Never happened before. Never happened again.
Right.
Yeah, they changed it to Carlton Hasselrig rule. And most of the guys declined to go because they would get crushed, Division I.
Yeah.
But Carlton Hasselrig went.
Well, he was a big guy. What did he weigh?
He weighed, when he played for the Steelers, he was, about 310. But, I'm imagine wrestling, he's about 280.
So then, because of, Chuck Noll was one of the greatest coaches that
Yeah.
ever lived.
Yeah,
Those are the same players that were drafted by Chuck Noll that Bill Cowher won with, right?
yeah. And Bill Cowher gave Chuck no credit that he was inheriting a great team.
I never heard that.
Yeah, he did.
I never heard him say that.
Yeah, he did.
I heard him just say Chuck Noll was a great coach.
I got it on VHS.
I never heard. You have to give me that. I got one that plays VHS DVDs. So give it to me. Just like the witness at the Roberto Clemente game.
I was there.
Thank you, Smoking Jim Frazier.
So as long as baseball season is going on,
All right.
I decided that, you know how I always like to pull out these interesting little facts.
Yeah.
And so we have a 60-game Major League Baseball season. Some teams are going to play 60. Some may play 48. Some may play 32. We will see what happens. But technically, a 60-game season is going to be played. So I did some research, as I'm wont to do, and I wanted to find out what kind of records have happened in baseball in 60 games.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Major League Baseball 60-game record book. Okay, a pandemic and a dawdling of Major League Baseball ownership have conspired to give us a measly 60-game regular season.
Yeah.
Okay, along these lines, let's have a look at the record book for a season such as this one. That is, let's take a look at the single-season records put up by players who played in no more than 60 games in a season, and by pitchers who worked no more than what's befitting a 60-game season. For most part, you won't find legends of the sport populating this list, but you will find some interesting statistical targets for the best players as the 2020 season, one hopes, makes its way toward us. Most hits in a 60-game season, 81, by Reb Russell, who played for the Pittsburgh Pirates in
Wow.
1922.
Wow.
That's a hit again.
He was 33
Plus.
years old when he played 60 games for the Pirates in 1922. In addition to those 81 hits, he batted .368.
Wow.
And he was solid enough for the Pirates, but was eventually released. So, tied for second on the list with 68 hits apiece are Jose Reyes in 2016 and Hall of Famer Willie McCovey in 1959.
Wow.
Okay, my phone has frozen. Okay, let's see here. We can unfreeze this. There we go. Now, next up is batting average. .374. Earl Brucker of the Philadelphia Athletics in 1938. For rate stats with hitters, we're stipulating no more than 60 games played and a minimum of 186 plate appearances during the season in question. Nicknamed Canyon Pants, Brucker was a catcher for Connie Mack's squadron. That's why Brucker in 1937 was a 36-year-old rookie.
Wow.
The following year, he batted .374 in 53 games despite limited playing time. Now, OPS plus, which is one of those sabermetric
Smoking
statistics.
Jim knows that.
Jim can go into great detail with you about OPS.
After the show.
Plus, the luminous Willie McCovey was a 21-year-old rookie for the Giants in 1959. His OPS plus was 188.
Wow.
In late July, he landed in the majors for good, and in 53 games that season, had 13 home runs. Home runs. for a 60-game seaon, 24 by Matt Olson of the Oakland Athletics in 2017.
Wow.
There's a current star who graces our list. Olson was a 23-year-old rookie in 2017, and his 59 games played were spaced across multiple call-ups before he settled in for good as a permanent big leaguer in August. Over those 59 games, he batted .259, and with as noted, 24 home runs. He racked up those 24 home runs in just 310 at-bats.
Wow.
Most likely to break it in 2020, Trout again. Doubles in a 60-game season. This is by two players. One, the number of doubles hit in a 60-game season, 18, by Bubba Trammell of the Tampa Devil Rays in 1999, and Bo Bichette of the Toronto Blue Jays in 2019.
I want to hear singles.
Pete Rose.
Okay, how about triples in a 60-game season? Once again, it's Reb Russell
Wow.
from the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1922.
What a rookie.
With 8. RBIs
Yeah.
in a 60-game season. Once again, that household name, Reb Russell of the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1922.
What a legend.
With 75 RBIs.
75.
60 games. Wow.
Second on the list is Kareem Garcia, 2002, all the way back at 52. Remember Aristides Aquino in his 2019 bust out? The Red Slugger is fourth on the list with 47 in 56 games.
Phew.
Runs scored.
Yeah.
Once again, that household name.
No.
Reb Russell of the Pittsburgh Pirates in 1922 with 51 runs scored in 60 games.
In this day and age, are you allowed to say his first name, Reb?
I don't.
That could be offensive.
We're not going there.
Okay.
We're not going there.
Just checking.
Stolen bases in a 60-game season.
Okay.
None other than an old acquaintance of mine, somebody that didn't particularly think very much of me, Eric Davis of the Cincinnati Reds, with 16 stolen bases. I told you that
Yes,
story.
sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
I heard it too. You
Yeah,
fooled
I
us
wasn't one
both.
of his favorite people. Let's just put it mildly like that. Strikeouts in a 60-game
Yeah.
season. Javier Baez of the Chicago Cubs in 2014. No surprise to see a contemporary player leading this category as strikeout rates have vaulted in recent years. Baez was called up in early August of his rookie campaign and needed just 52 games to approach 100 strikeouts.
No way. Wow.
And another one of these sabermetrics, WARs, which is called wins after replacement.
Yeah.
3.3. Brett Lowry of the Toronto Blue Jays in 2011. And if you'd like to know more about, WAR and
See smoking.
OPS plus, Jim will email Jim.
He doesn't answer email, but do it.
Most wins in a 60-game season for a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Ken Holtzman of the Chicago Cubs in 1967 with
Wow.
9.
Wow.
Strikeouts in a 60-game season. The ace of the Washington National staff, Stephen Strasburg,
Yeah.
in 2010 with 92.
Wow.
I like it.
Yeah, in his major league debut, I remember it very well. He struck out 14 Pirates. And
He could throw
the
some
first game
heat.
he pitched in
Wow.
June 8th of 2010.
That wasn't no fluke.
Home runs allowed. Jared Eichhoff of the Philadelphia Phillies in 2019
Wow.
with 18 home runs given up in 60 games.
Wow.
Saves go to Ryan Kohlmeyer of the Baltimore Orioles in 2000 with 13 saves.
Wow.
Lowest ERA, Josh Johnson of the Miami Marlins. 2011, his ERA was 1.64.
Whoa.
Relief pitcher.
Okay, and another.
You don't have singles in there because smoking Jim's
No,
on the
because
edge
that's
of
not
the
a
seat.
statistic that anybody puts any value in.
I can't believe you're talking.
Unless, of course, you're a degenerate gambler.
He is. That's why he wants to know.
So there's some numbers to shoot for. Now, interestingly enough, you look at what Aaron Judge is doing. I believe he has 7
yeah.
home runs in the first 11 games.
It's awesome.
It'll be interesting to see which of these records shall fall.
We were switching between channels, and my son goes, "Do you want to see Judge?" And I go, "Yeah, put it on." He puts it on. 2 pitches later, he jacks it out of the ballpark.
Hey, when you watch Aaron Judge at bat, you're going to see one of two things. He's either going to hit a home run or he's going to strike out.
6'7", though. What a beast.
Oh, I watched him hit a home run out of PNC Park several years ago, and I don't think that ball has landed yet. The center field
arc.
batter's eye, it landed on top of it.
Wow.
I mean, that ball was like,
He can hit. He got some power.
oh yeah.
Smoking.
Well, Chip, I know you don't like American League, but anything with my Yankees in there, you didn't mention my Yankees one time.
Yeah, that's
You went
right,
through that.
because,
It doesn't apply. It doesn't apply for just 60. They get good players for all year long. They've bought the best for 50 years.
I've been watching Barnaby Jones.
Yeah.
You ever hear that show?
I watched it religiously in the 70s.
Lee Mayweather.
Lee Merriweather.
Merriweather. She was engaged to Joe DiMaggio at one time. She was Miss Universe or Miss America or something.
And he was Mr. Coffee.
Yeah.
He could grind.
Smoking Jim, if you read books, I had told you years ago that I read the book on Joe DiMaggio.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had told you, but you have short-term memory loss and CTE. Do not play football, folks, without a helmet. And this is what happened. And just the stories about Joe DiMaggio when he was younger and how he went to towns, and he was just a no-nonsense guy. So a lot of interesting stories.
Was he a good-looking guy?
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Coffee, I didn't see it.
You never saw it? He was an older guy with white hair like mine. When he was young,
Marilyn Monroe saw it.
Yeah, Marilyn Monroe. My
Yeah.
goodness.
she saw the dark hair and the Italian stallion look
He
about
wouldn't
him.
have been able to get Anna Nicole Smith. I know that.
They couldn't call him the Yankee Clipper for nothing.
I'll tell you off air about that. But on location, we're going to go to On Location. Thanks, Chip. On Location, we got a short list. I told you about the Afro-American Musical Institute and We21 that they're putting on the event. They still want us to do the event, Smokin' Jim. John Sarapere came in and met with Dave Cable to see what we have to do the show, and I explained it to him, and Dave confirmed it, so he said we're good to go whenever we get a date. And as far as Master Zhang, we're still up in the air on that. I've had a few other people talk to me about possibly doing shows, but we don't know when right now, so they're all up in the air. So to save some time, we're going to come back with some Penguin talk and more sports.
And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off. Rachel Harris has it.
Bethel Park Inline Hockey. It's fast, it's fun, and we want you to play. Inline hockey is just like ice hockey, but no ice, and significantly less expensive and far less of a time commitment. Way less travel than ice hockey, too. The sport is played on a specialized rink at the Bridgeville Rollerplex, RMU Island Sports Complex, Harmerville's Alpha Arena, Hot Shots Indoor Sports Arena, and the Murraysville Sports Zone. Our teams play in the Pennsylvania Interscholastic Roller Hockey League, or the PIRHL. Each year, teams from elementary, middle, and high school play a 16-game schedule, plus playoffs, from October through March. Practice one evening a week and games on Saturdays or Sundays. The sport is recognized by the Bethel Park School District, which means student athletes can earn a letter once they reach high school. We play rivals such as Upper St. Clair, Peters Township, Canon-Mac, Pine Richland, North Hills, and so many more. This is no pickup game. You'll need regulation pads, hockey skates, helmets, and the coolest Hawks uniforms around. 2 refs at every game officiate 3 15-minute periods with a running clock. No icing, no offsides, no checking, but this sport will rock you. Registration is coming up, so check out our website at www.bpinlinehockey.com and sign up soon. Let's play!
And his pass is broken up by Tatum. Tipped off.
Welcome back. Like I was telling people, have no fear with the Penguins losing the first game. That happens. Montreal's not that good of a team, but we gave them so many breaks. The only thing I told Chip I was happy with was the Saturday game, 18 shots in the first period. They came out alive but didn't follow through and have anybody in front of the goaltender.
But of those 18 shots, how many of those were legitimate scoring opportunities? Just because the puck is shot on net doesn't necessarily mean it's a scoring opportunity.
About 10 to 12.
You know,
About
one
10
of the
to
things
12.
that bothered me about what I've seen out of the Penguins in the first two games, and much to Alan's chagrin, I'm going to have to say, you know, even though the Penguins played a good game last night, but if they continue to play the way they are playing in these first two games, the chances of them winning a Stanley Cup this year are slim or close to none. Because here's what's going on with the Penguins right now. Now, all defensemen healthy, the Penguins at best have an average defensive core. Okay, they don't really have a strong defensive team.
Right.
And what the Penguins really have to focus their energies on is, you know, they can get by with an average defense with an above-average goaltender. And Matt Murray was not the reason why they lost that game Saturday night.
Right.
And he certainly was a big reason why they won the game last night.
Yeah, he stepped up.
You know, but you know, with all of the supposed talent that the Penguins have on their roster, they should be scoring more goals. There's no reason for them not to be. Evgeny Malkin can't seem to find the net. You know, the Penguins' biggest problem I see is they are too interested in making the perfect pass around the perimeter.
That is traditional.
And what they really need to do is they need to start getting dirty, mixing it up in front of the net, because when they go to play teams like Tampa Bay, Boston, they're never going to last in a 7-game series if they don't start putting pucks in the net.
You got to notice when Hornquist is in front of the net.
Exactly.
It makes a big difference. Carey Price was reverting back to his form from 4 to 6 years ago. He has a playoff record that I think before they started was 24-31. So he's had his issues with not winning a lot of these prime games, but he is a good quality goaltender that still can show you that. If he has nobody in front of him or putting pressure on him, like I saw him hitting Hornquist in the back with a stick.
Well, and there's a lot of cross-checking going on, and they're not calling anything.
No.
So it's playoff hockey. That is what it is.
Yeah.
But the problem that they had Saturday night was if you give Carey Price, and Carey Price is a good enough goaltender, that if you give him clean looks at the shot, you're not going to put any of them past him. What they have to do is they have to create traffic in front of the net.
And what else
and
about
distract him?
Right. What the other thing about him is he's so calm. Nothing bothers him. So if you don't put anything in front of him to bother him,
Well, Hornquist was bothering him last night.
that's what I
And
said.
subsequently, look at the difference in
That's
the
my
outcome
point
of the
to it.
game.
And then I got to give Sid credit for getting the first goal last night and having a goal in each game. Now Malkin, he come back better this year, but he's back in the funk that he was last year. You know, he can get the puck up there and get it around, but he can't close anything out. And like my son Drew and I say, when they're on the power play, because what have they had? Like about 12?
They've had 12 power play opportunities. They've scored 1 goal. That is not going to get it done. Not in the playoffs. They have to be able to capitalize on their man advantage. And twice they had 5-on-3, and they weren't able to.
They didn't
one
even get
time
a
they
shot.
didn't even get a shot off.
Yeah.
That's unacceptable. That's not going to win you.
My son
games
and
in
I
the
both
playoffs.
say when they're on the power play, just shoot the puck. And Chip emphasized what we believe, put the puck on net, because good things happen for your team if you're closing in on the net.
Now, the one thing that I did see the Penguins do last night that I was very encouraging was they weren't giving up the odd man rushes.
Yes.
You know, and so
They're tightened up on that end.
So they were playing very good puck control. They weren't giving away the puck, and making it easier for the Canadiens to score. And even the goal that was scored late in the game, was on a deflection.
Right.
So you can't really hold Murray responsible for that.
No, that's
But
what I
if
say.
you would have listened to talk radio yesterday, everybody and their mother was saying, you got to put Jari in, you got to put Jari in, you got to do this, you got to do that. And I was like, didn't anybody watch that game Saturday?
No.
Matt Murray was not the reason why they lost that game.
No.
You
No,
know,
it was their play and lack of scoring. When you have 18 shots, I was glad to see it, but I didn't follow up with. What I was disappointed in was no goals.
well, they didn't have anybody in front of the net to pick up the rebounds.
Thank you. Thank you. That's why I say maybe 10, 12
That's what Jim was
goals.
telling me off the air.
I missed the game.
No, he's all over. He didn't know it was on, but that's all right. He's a true hockey fan. So
I mean, just listening to what you guys were talking about, it sounds like the Penguins are a team that's cursed.
Smoking
Is
Jim.
it the Yager curse?
I got to interrupt you on that. I'm still looking for.
Or is it the Flurry curse?
Wait, no. I got to go to the Art Rooney curse. That he was cursed because he kept hiring friends that his were drunks and coached the team. And he did that for almost 40 years. So that's what happened. But you can read about that curse.
So,
Let's talk NFL.
Okay, let's talk NFL. Right now, teams are in training camp. I'm hearing good things about Ike Hilliard as the new wide receivers coach. And they brought in Matt Canada to kind of upgrade the offense.
Yeah.
Ben gave an interview today, and Ben sounded very, very excited. And there's 5 tendons on your forearm.
Yeah.
And he had ripped 3 of them off the bone.
3.
And his injury last year, and they said that was not a horrific. It's not like Tommy John surgery. They reattached the tendons,
Yeah.
and Ben is saying that he's throwing pain-free for the first time in
Well, I saw a couple
many
videos.
years.
I saw a couple videos where he was throwing passes at Robert Morris, where you
Mm-hmm.
take care of the fields. He was throwing the pass maybe 35, 40, 50 yards to people, and he had a good fluid motion with a snap on his throw.
Well, generally, here's what happens, and this happens with baseball pitchers that get Tommy John surgery, is what they do as part of your rehab is they reteach you how to throw, and they teach you to throw
Correctly.
with proper mechanics.
Yeah.
Because because throwing is actually an unnatural act.
I
Whether
agree
you're
with you.
throwing a baseball or throwing a football, your muscles weren't
They
built
weren't made.
that way. So if you throw properly and don't put less strain on the elbow and the shoulder, you can be much more effective. And that's what's that's what you're seeing out of Ben right now. And that's usually when a pitcher comes back from Tommy John surgery.
Right.
He's a better pitcher after the surgery than he was before.
No, I've noticed it over the years, and I pitched, so I know when you had different aches and pains, they go, you got to live with it. That's what they told you then.
Yeah, well, what they used to tell us, rub dirt in it, take a lap.
How about they gave me that balm, that heat balm?
Or how about this freeze spray?
Yeah, they heated my arm up by the end of the year because I pitched 15 out of 17 games because I thought I could throw a ball right through the wall, and I could. By the end of the year, my fastball was so slow, they were missing it then because they were used to the heat that I throw. Wow. But my arm was that messed up when I was like 15 years old.
Speaking of baseball, right now, football, everything's fine. People are being tested. People are being put it on the COVID.
Where's the
injury
bubble,
list.
though?
But here's what's going to happen. The same thing that's happening with baseball.
That's
Once
why I
the
brought it
teams
up.
start traveling, that's when things are going to get interesting because these players, they just won't follow the protocols. And the actions of a few knuckleheads can affect the entire team. So,
as an example, some of them Smoking Jim can relate to because it's an essential sport. They believe that. Some of them may, like Smoking Jim, go, hey, Coach, I'm going to get a bucket of chicken at Kentucky Fried. Now, instead of him saying, no, don't go there because you're not going to wear your mask, Smoking Jim would go, I'll wear the mask. It's in the car. That's where it stays. He gets his bucket of chicken. A girl breathes on him. He says how cute she is. She breathes on him again. He brings COVID back to the team.
well, that being said,
Well, how about the guy for the NBA and Lou Williams? I don't
we
know if you
talked
guys-
about him last week.
last week. I mean,
50. Here's the thing.
That's
For the
the
10
most-
days that he's quarantined, he's getting fined $50,000 a day. That's a $500,000 plate of wings he caught. I
and
guess.
he's missing 2 games without pay.
And I bet you, that must have been one hell of a plate of wings.
They said, I didn't know that strip clubs had great food. They said the food was really good at
Well,
Magic
we wanted
City.
your expertise on it because you know about that. Because I said, how could he go for wings there? Who's even having them there? Chip said it was earlier in the evening.
So, so now let's get to the 800-pound gorilla in the room.
Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Pirates lost again today. Started the season off 2-9. The Pittsburgh Pirates are in a full-blown rebuild. And realistically, anybody that thought that the Pirates had any chance of contending this year,
That'd be you.
was probably smoking something. But that being said, the Pirates are going to play a lot of different people. They've got to do a lot of evaluations. Their pitching staff is decimated. They lost Mitch Keller this week. They announced the starter for Thursday's game is T.J. Brubaker.
Yeah, he
who pitched very well the first weekend against the Cardinals. And his whole career he has been a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
They were trying to get him acclimated to pitching in a
and he had 4 strikeouts in 2 innings.
So, he's going to get a chance to start. And, and it doesn't seem that the starting pitching is the biggest problem. It's the relievers that are. Now, Pirates got Keone Kela back.
Yeah.
He's been practicing at PNC Park. He's been tested negative. And soon he'll be thrown off a mound. And, and who knows? Maybe we'll see him because the Pirates are coming home tomorrow for 2 games against the Minnesota Twins. And then we got a series against the Detroit Tigers, I believe.
No, we'll see what happens. But
I will tell you this. The brand of baseball they're playing right now, it's painful to watch.
Yeah.
And this is from a lifelong Pirate fan. It is painful.
Well, I just got to give a shout-out to the MVP. Anthony on the 1s and 2s did a great job tonight.
Why? What happened?
Did a great job.
We're still doing the show. Oh, okay. I didn't know we had 1 minute and 25 seconds to go.
Anthony's our superstar, man.
Yeah, he is.
He makes us look good.
Yeah.
He makes me look better than his mask does.
No, he's doing great. We're just glad to have Smoking Jim back, being a truth sayer like he is. We appreciate that because he's off the charts with that. And it's just good to have him back, whether he has a fly-by-night insurance company. I just think it's on him because all I know is he couldn't see, wrecked a truck, and he ends up with his ex-wife's car.
And the Jake from State Farm he deals with doesn't wear khakis.
No, nor a red shirt, nor a red polo. So I don't know what goes on with that, but it's always a pleasure to have Smoking Jim back. It's great to be on the show with Chip. Thanks for Anthony. Whatever he's doing back there, he did a good job. And we're winding down. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, watching our show. We're looking at doing different things coming up throughout the year, so stay tuned. We hope we were entertaining again for you, so I appreciate that. Keep on watching, and we'll have more sports each week. And I'm a little hesitant with the baseball season and the football season, no matter what Smoking Jim says, because no bubble, no play. And with that, stay Joey strong.